Good day viewers and welcome to class. In this video, I'll be solving this question under the topic plane geometry. So we have to find the angle marked x in this diagram. The diagram is labeled PQRST. So x is this point here. So x is representing the angle at this point. So we want to find the size of this angle at this point. Now, before we go on to solve this question, I'll just introduce you to some basic concepts under plane geometry. So, we have some sort of relation. We have what we call alternate angles. We have corresponding angles. And we have vertically opposite. So basically, these are relations that we'll also be able to solve this question. So now plane geometry deals with parallel lines. So if I have two parallel lines, two horizontal parallel lines, like this arrow indicates that they are parallel, and a transversal line, I can label it A, B, C, and then D. This angle as E, F, G, and H. Now, so from this particular diagram here, I'm going to show you these three relations. Now, the first one is alternate angles. So alternate angles are angles that basically appear in shapes that looks like N, like this, or shapes that look like Z. Now, mind you, the N could be something like this, and the Z could also be flipped like this. So basically, for this, the angle here for the N is equal to the angle here. The angle here is equal to the angle here. Then the Z to the same thing. The angle here is equal to the angle here. And that's based on the assumption that this line is parallel to this line and everything to the same thing, that they are parallel lines. This is the easiest way to identify the first one, which is alternate angle. So whenever you were able to picture something that looks like either N or Z, and the angles are like this, you can know that they are alternate angles. And alternate angles are equal, basically. So in this diagram I've drawn, I can say that the angle B is equal to the angle F. And that's because they are alternate. They are alternate to them. So the angle D is here, the angle Z is here. So this point, this shape looks like Z. Yeah, this other one at this point. This looks like Z. So the angle D is equal to the angle F. And that's because they are alternate angles. Also, I can say that the angle C is equal to the angle E. So if I extend this line, and I extend this line, I can also say that the angle here is equal to the angle here. That's the other side of this one I've drawn first. So they are also alternate angles. Now to corresponding angles. So basically these are alternate. Now for corresponding angles, appears when you have shapes that looks like F. So the angle here will also be equal to the angle here. So in this particular diagram, you're able to picture this F in this diagram. So if you are able to picture that, you see that the angle C is equal to the angle G. This is C here, and this is G here. It looks like what I've just shown now. So they are corresponding angles. Also, this is observe that C is below the first line, G is below the second line. I can also say B is equal to F, the ones are both. So B is equal to F. Then on this side, it also still holds that A is equal to E, A is equal to E, and D is equal to H. D is equal to H. So all of these are corresponding angles. While for vertically opposite It holds whenever you have shape like X and this side is equal to this side, and also this side is equal to this side. That's vertically opposite angles. So here I can say for vertically opposite angles now, A is equal to C, B is equal to D, E is equal to G, and F is equal to H. So these are all vertically opposite to themselves. That's why they are equal. So now we're bringing this concept to the obvious question. But we also need to remember some basic things that we must have learned before. Like sum of angles in a triangle is 180. Sum of angles on a straight line, if you have a straight line, you have different angles on that straight line. Their sum will be 180. And the sum of angles at a point is 360. Now, so bringing those ideas here, I can solve this question. Now, this arrow indicates that the line PQ is parallel to the line ST. We are not particularly given the length of the line, so we can go on to extend the lines. So I can extend this line PQ and extend it this way, like this, such that it's still parallel to line ST. Now, so by extending this line, there are some things that I immediately pop up. I can see that this angle here at point S corresponds to this angle here. So you can see it looks like that F shape. That what we did there. Yeah. So this angle here is 120 because it's corresponding to the angle at S here. That's the first thing. Second thing that I need to also do is to find this angle here. Now, this is a straight line at this point. PQ is a straight line, and there is a 130 here. I can subtract this 130 from 180 and get this place to be 50 degrees, so that the sum of the angles on a straight line will still be 180 degrees. I can do the same for this one and say 180 minus 120 will be 60. And so at this point I have a triangle that looks like this. I can solve for x by simply equating the sum of these angles to 180. Something like this: x degree equals to x degree plus 50 degree plus 60 degree is equal to 180. Then I'll say that x plus 110 by adding 50 and 60 is 180. Then x is 180 minus 110. And my result is 70. So the value of x here is 70.